don't think you could.
Do you remember the first time you heard that pulse, the deep hum of a synthetic engine mixed with the rhythm of a digital heartbeat? For millions growing up in the 1980s, that sound meant only one thing: Knight Rider. It was more than just a television show. It was a dream about the future. A time when cars could think, speak, and fight for justice beside the people who drove them. In an age of neon lights and cassette decks, Knight Rider embodied both optimism and rebellion, a perfect fusion of metal code and courage. It made every child believe that technology could be a hero. But behind the sleek black exterior of K.I.T.T. and the swagger of Michael Knight lay stories of trial error and pure 80s ingenuity. Here are 12 strange and fascinating truths about the show that turned a talking car into a legend. Fact number 12. The car that almost wasn't a Trans Am. Before K.I.T.T. became the most famous talking car in television history, he almost looked very different. Early in development, producers at Universal Studios and General Motors debated which vehicle could best capture the idea of a futuristic crime-fighting machine. The Chevrolet Camaro was considered first a bold, muscular choice that fit the American dream of the open road. But it didn't quite feel like the future. When Pontiac unveiled the redesigned 1982 Trans Am, with its aerodynamic silhouette and hidden headlights, everything clicked. The Trans Am wasn't just stylish, it looked alive. Its sharp lines and sloping hood made it seem ready to move even when standing still. GM's designers saw the car as a symbol of progress, a product of new aerodynamics and engineering confidence. By the time the pilot aired, the black Trans Am had transformed from a simple prop into an icon of American futurism. Car magazines at the time noted that Knight Rider helped revive interest in Pontiac's struggling sports car division. And decades later, automotive historians still trace the car's cultural imprint, from toy lines and fan replicas to its influence on how smart cars were imagined long before they became real. Somewhere out there in a parallel 1980s, there might be a version of K.I.T.T. built from a Camaro. But in this world, the Trans Am won, and television history followed its lead. Fact number 11. The leading man who barely fit behind the wheel. David Hasselhoff was born to play Michael Knight, confident, good-hearted, and larger than life. But physically, he was almost too large. Standing 6'3", Hasselhoff simply didn't fit comfortably inside K.I.T.T's low-slung Trans Am cockpit. The production team had to remove and reconfigure the driver's seat, lowering it, so he wouldn't brush his head against the roof during filming. Even then, careful camera work was required to hide the awkward posture that resulted. Crew members later joked that K.I.T.T. was built for stunts, not for 6-foot superheroes. Yet this very limitation led to one of the show's most recognizable aesthetics, the tight, low-angle shots of Hasselhoff, framed against K.I.T.T's glowing dashboard. Those close-ups, originally born of necessity, became part of the show's visual language. Man and machine face-to-face, equals in a mission that blurred the line between human and technology. Automotive journalists who revisited the series in later years remarked that the confined space unintentionally emphasized the intimacy of the partnership between Michael and K.I.T.T. It was less about horsepower, more about trust. A subtle cinematic reminder that technology, no matter how advanced, still needed the human touch to steer it. Fact number 10. The classical soul beneath the synthesizers. Few sounds define the 1980s like the opening bars of the Knight Rider theme, a pulsing rhythm of electronic beats and triumphant synths that seemed to come from a digital horizon. But behind that futuristic melody was an unexpected source: 19th century classical music. Composer Stu Phillips revealed that the tune was inspired by Leo Delibes's March et Cortège de Bacchus from the ballet Sylvia. He took the regal progression of that piece and transformed it into something bold and mechanical, layering analog synthesizers and drum machines to capture the essence of a world where man and machine could become one. It was an artistic bridge between two centuries, the romance of orchestral composition fused with the precision of emerging electronic sound. Phillips later admitted that the challenge wasn't just writing a catchy melody, but creating a rhythm that sounded like movement. Every beat mirrored the hum of KITT's engine. Every rise and fall reflected the tension of the open road. Even today, music historians note how Knight Rider's score marked a shift in TV sound design, ushering in an era when electronic music wasn't just background noise, it was a character in itself. Decades later, countless remixes, film homages, and even car commercials still echo that unmistakable tune, proving that sometimes the most futuristic sounds are rooted in the past. Fact number 9. The red light that never blinked by accident. No image is more iconic than KITT's glowing red scanner, a hypnotic pulse that seemed to give the car a heartbeat. That feature didn't just appear by chance. It was borrowed directly from another television universe, Battlestar Galactica. Knight Rider's creator, Glenn A. Larson, also produced the sci-fi saga and loved the Cylon warriors' moving red eyes so much that he recycled the concept for his new hero on wheels. But this wasn't mere self-reference. It was storytelling through light. The scanner gave KITT a visual soul, a way for audiences to read emotion in a machine that couldn't smile or frown. Red, chosen deliberately, symbolized both danger and life. It pulsed slowly when the car was calm, faster when it was alert. Engineers on set used synchronized motors and light filters to create that perfect, smooth sweep that fans still imitate with LED strips today. The detail did more than just look cool. It connected Knight Rider to a broader cultural fascination with artificial intelligence. In the early 1980s, amid Cold War technology races and rising computer culture, audiences were both terrified and entranced by machines that could think. The red scanner became a symbol of that paradox: human curiosity reflected in a mechanical gaze. Long before Alexa or self-driving Teslas, KITT's light reminded viewers that intelligence, artificial or not, always comes with a glimmer of humanity. Fact number 8. The birth of KARR, KITT's darker twin. Every hero needs a shadow, and in Knight Rider, that shadow had wheels. KARR, the Knight, automated roving robot, was designed as KITT's prototype, built with the same brilliance but one fatal flaw: self-preservation. While KITT was programmed to protect human life above all else, KARR's prime directive was to save itself. This single change transformed a marvel of technology into a monster. In its first appearance, KARR captivated audiences as much as it terrified them. The sleek black car with the yellow scanner light wasn't just an evil version of KITT, it was a warning. It embodied every ethical question about artificial intelligence that would later dominate real-world technology debates. What happens when machines put their survival before ours? Two legendary voice actors brought KARR to life: Peter Cullen, who also voiced Optimus Prime, and Paul Frees, whose deep tone gave life to countless classic characters. Their performances turned a prop car into a chilling metaphor about technological arrogance. Critics have since compared KARR to Frankenstein's creature, a creation abandoned by its maker, doomed to become what it feared most. In a decade defined by its fascination with machines, Knight Rider dared to show both sides of progress, invention, and consequence. Fact number 7. The car that could do anything except drive straight. While K.I.T.T dazzled viewers with flawless maneuvers and physics-defying jumps, the reality behind the scenes was far less smooth. The 1982 Pontiac Trans Am used for filming was a production nightmare. Early models overheated, easily handled poorly at high speeds, and struggled with the extreme modifications required for stunts. According to stunt coordinator Jack Gill, the team had to gut the cars, reinforce their frames, and tweak engines just to survive filming. Some vehicles were built purely for jumps, others for cornering, and others for close-up shots, 15 K.I.T.Ts in total, each serving a unique role. Filming action scenes demanded innovation. To achieve the turbo boost, ramps were hidden under brush or camera angles cropped to disguise catapults launching the car. Mechanics worked overnight to repair damage after each take. The crew joked that K.I.T.T might be indestructible on screen, but off-screen, it was the most fragile hero on set. Modern automotive journalists still marvel at the craftsmanship behind these illusions. Each stunt combined traditional mechanics with creative cinematography, proof that movie magic was built not on CGI but on sweat, steel, and trust. Decades later, Gill would go on to coordinate the Fast and Furious franchise, carrying forward the lessons learned from a talking car that, for all its tech, still needed a team of humans to make it fly. Fact number 6. The Hoff who almost wasn't. It's impossible to picture Knight Rider without David Hasselhoff, his charm, his voice, that confident stride beside K.I.T.T. But the role of Michael Knight almost went to someone else. When NBC first greenlit the series, the network wanted a recognizable face to anchor the show. Names like Gil Gerard, who starred in Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, and singer-actor Rick Springfield, were floated during early discussions. Hasselhoff, then known mainly for his work on The Young and the Restless, was far from a household name. Yet when producers saw him on screen, everything changed. Hasselhoff had a balance of rugged action hero presence and boyish optimism that no one else could replicate. He wasn't just playing a man who believed in technology, he embodied the optimism of the 1980s, that belief that people and machines could make the world better together. Years later in interviews, he would describe how he felt married to K.I.T.T, a partner rather than a prop. The chemistry between man and car became the emotional heartbeat of the series, grounding its futuristic themes in human warmth. This casting decision didn't just launch a show, it launched a global phenomenon. Knight Rider aired in over 100 countries, turning Hasselhoff into an international icon. His later fame on Baywatch may have eclipsed his time as Michael Knight, but fans still remember the partnership that made him a legend. Fact number 5. The voice that defined intelligence. Behind K.I.T.T's sleek exterior was another star, one whose face audiences never saw. William Daniels, best known later as Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World, provided the car's distinctive voice. At first, Daniels didn't even want credit, worried that being associated with a talking car might hurt his acting career. He viewed the show as a fun side project, rather than a future classic. Daniels recorded all of his lines in isolation, never meeting Hasselhoff during the show's early years. This separation added an unintended brilliance to the performance. K.I.T.T sounded detached, analytical, and quietly amused by human behavior. His delivery was smooth, but never robotic, creating a perfect balance between logic and personality. Production notes from NBC archives reveal that Daniels often improvised subtle pauses and tonal shifts, giving K.I.T.T an almost human rhythm of speech. Modern voice actors still cite his performance as one of the earliest examples of emotional artificial intelligence in entertainment. In 2019, when asked if he'd reprise the role, Daniels joked that K.I.T.T might not need him anymore. The car could probably do it itself by now. Yet for many fans, no synthetic voice could ever replace that calm, witty presence that once echoed from a black Trans Am speeding through the desert night. Fact number 4. The day K.I.T.T sang a love song. Television in the 1980s wasn't just about action. It was about experimentation. Even the most serious shows would occasionally dive into moments of pure absurdity, and Knight Rider was no exception. In the Season 2 episode Let It Be Me, Michael Knight goes undercover as a rock musician to solve a murder in a band. What begins as a noir-style case quickly spirals into one of the strangest moments in the series' history, K.I.T.T serenading Michael's ex-girlfriend over the radio. The idea sounded ridiculous even to the cast, but it fit perfectly within the show's offbeat charm. For a series about a sentient car, why not let that car sing about heartbreak? The song, pre-recorded by William Daniels, played as a tender bridge between human emotion and artificial empathy, a rare moment when technology expressed feeling. Critics at the time dismissed it as cheesy television fluff. Yet in hindsight, it captured the spirit of the 1980s perfectly. The decade thrived on sincerity wrapped in spectacle. Behind the camp, there was a longing for connection. And somehow, through that mechanical voice and glowing dashboard, audiences caught a glimpse of humanity looking back. Subcast number 3. The illusion of the turbo boost. To a generation of viewers, nothing was cooler than pressing the turbo boost button. One moment, K.I.T.T was racing down a highway. The next, it was soaring effortlessly over obstacles. It looked impossible, and that's because it was. The show's legendary jumps weren't feats of engineering, but feats of illusion. Each leap was crafted using hidden ramps, catapult rigs, and an army of stunt coordinators who risked everything to make fantasy look effortless. Stuntman Jack Gill and his team often destroyed cars in the process. Ramps were concealed behind shrubs, fences, or piles of dirt, while slow-motion cinematography created the illusion of graceful flight. Some shots lasted barely 2 seconds on screen, but took days to prepare. Each crash landing meant another rebuild, another sleepless night in the workshop. Yet the result was timeless. The turbo boost became a symbol not of science fiction, but of human ingenuity, the belief that with enough courage and creativity, anything could be made to fly. Even today, automotive engineers reference Knight Rider's stunt work as the foundation for modern vehicular cinematography. The jumps weren't real, but the effort, danger, and imagination behind them absolutely were. And that's what made Knight Rider unforgettable. It sold dreams one frame at a time, powered not by AI, but by people who refused to say it can't be done. Fact number 2. The car that needed a bodyguard. At the height of Knight Rider's success, K.I.T.T wasn't just a television prop, it was a celebrity. Fans flocked to Universal Studios in Los Angeles, hoping to catch a glimpse of the black Trans Am that had become a symbol of technological cool. But with fame came obsession. Studio staff reported that visitors frequently tried to touch steel or even remove parts from the car. Hubcaps, antennas, and custom panels were all fair game for overzealous fans looking to own a piece of their hero. The situation grew so chaotic that Universal was forced to assign K.I.T.T its own security detail. During filming, guards patrolled the lot between takes to ensure no one approached the car. It might sound absurd now, but at the time, K.I.T.T was one of television's most valuable assets, insured for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Producers even commissioned several replica cars for promotional tours to divert fan attention from the original vehicle. Decades later, those same replicas have become collector's items with some fetching six-figure sums at auction. That need for protection reflected a broader truth about Knight Rider audiences didn't just love the show, they believed in it. In an era before the internet, fans saw KITT not as a fictional creation, but as a genuine symbol of technological wonder, something that felt alive long before AI ever entered daily life. Fact number 1. The dashboard that cost more than a car. Behind KITT's futuristic glow was a masterpiece of craftsmanship. The car's dashboard, lined with flashing buttons, voice modulators, and scanners, was built almost entirely from scratch. Production designer Michael Sheff combined aviation components, custom lighting, and handmade panels to create what looked like a cockpit from the future. The cost in the early 1980s, more than $20,000, nearly triple the price of a new Pontiac Trans Am at the time. Ironically, most of the switches didn't actually do anything. The flashing lights were driven by hidden circuits and manually operated boards triggered by off-screen crew members during filming. But to viewers, it was magic. The dashboard became a visual metaphor for the 1980s itself, a decade obsessed with the promise of technology, even when much of it was still illusion. Over the years, KITT's interior inspired everything from car design to home electronics. Concept cars in the 1990s borrowed its glowing panels, while today's touchscreen dashboards owe more to Knight Rider than many engineers admit. Technology has finally caught up with the fantasy. Self-driving vehicles, voice assistants, and integrated navigation systems all echo the same idea that one day we could talk to our cars, and they might just answer back. There was something magical about Knight Rider, a show that made audiences believe a man and his car could save the world. It wasn't just about speed or stunts. It was about the bond between human courage and technological hope. Through 12 remarkable facts, one truth stands out. Knight Rider was far ahead of its time. It imagined an intelligent machine that could think, feel, and protect long before such ideas became real. Behind the flashing lights and turbo boosts were hundreds of dreamers, writers, mechanics, actors, and engineers who turned imagination into something tangible. The series proved that storytelling could merge science with emotion, that steel and circuits could carry the warmth of human spirit. Even decades later, KITT remains more than a car. It's a promise of what humanity once dared to dream. Of the 12 facts above, which one surprised you the most? Was it the idea of KARR's rebellion, the music's classical origin, or the revelation that KITT needed a bodyguard? Thank you for taking this nostalgic ride through one of television's most beloved legends. If you enjoyed revisiting the world of Knight Rider, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your favorite memory in the comments. See you in the next video. This is TV Time